Hi, good morning. For those who haven't met me, let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Nishta Pradeep, the voice behind all these videos. This is my 13th upload and so far I've covered the basic terminologies and maxillary and mandibular anatomical landmarks. So I guess this is the right time to venture into a new topic, impressions.
Any case in prosthodontics commences with diagnosis and treatment planning and impression making. You must be familiar with the adage, the first impression is the best impression. Well, I cannot agree with this quote completely, but as far as prosthodontics is concerned, this is 100% true. The quality and accuracy of your first impression, also called the primary impression or the diagnostic impression, can actually make or break the final outcome. So let's see all about impressions, and I hope by the end of the series you will be confident in making the perfect impression. Now, what is meant by impression? Impression is the negative likeness or copy in reverse of the surface of an object, whereas cast is a positive replica obtained from a material poured into the impression. Let me just run you through an impression making procedure so that you'll understand what I'm talking about. Here you see a suitable material being loaded onto an impression tray. It is placed in the patient's mouth, and once it's set and firm, that is, the material is set, the impression is carefully removed from the patient's mouth, and there you get your first impression. So the first prerequisite for making an accurate impression will definitely be you have to select the most accurate perfect impression tray. Some of the requirements of an impression tray are: it should cover the entire basal seat area, it should be dimensionally stable, and there should be space for the impression material in it. By definition, an impression tray is a device used to carry, confine, and control impression material while making an impression. Let's see how they are classified. Depending on the method of fabrication, it can be stock trays or custom trays. On the arch used, it can be maxillary trays or mandibular trays. If it's used on a dentulous mouth, it's dentulous trays, and there are edentulous trays for making impressions of edentulous mouth. Depending upon the material of the tray, it can be metallic or non-metallic. If perforations are present in the tray, it's a perforated tray, and if not, it is a non-perforated tray. We have full arch trays and sectional trays for making impressions of specific quadrants. First, let's see the parts of an impression tray. This is the handle, this is the body, and this is the flange of the impression tray. The flange of a dentulous impression tray has to be long enough in order to accommodate both the teeth and the surrounding structures. We have to make impression up to the sulcus, so the flanges are longer in case of a dentulous impression tray. This is an edentulous impression tray with shorter flanges. This is used to make impression of an edentulous patient. Also, dentulous trays have a flat floor, whereas edentulous have a rounded floor. The cross section will be square in dentulous and rounded in edentulous. So all these are stock trays. They come in sizes from U1 to U4, L1 to L4. Okay, so you can differentiate the upper tray and the lower trays also. The upper trays will have a palatal vault. This portion accommodates the palate, and for the lower tray we have a tongue space here. These are the lower trays, and these are, again, as I mentioned before, these are dentulous trays, and here we have edentulous trays with shorter flanges. Custom trays are the ones which we fabricate. So once we make the primary impression and we get the primary cast, we fabricate a special tray. So this tray has better adaptation, and it fits the patient's tissues more accurately, and we use this to do a clinical procedure called border molding and final impression. Fine. Here you can see a perforated tray, and this is a non-perforated tray. Non-perforated tray is used when impression compound is the impression material being used. It sticks to the impression tray and it doesn't get dislodged when you try to remove the impression from the patient's mouth. But alginate impression material does not adhere to the tray, so we use a perforated tray when we are trying to make an impression with alginate. The mixed alginate passes through these perforations present in the tray, and when it sets, it forms a mechanical interlocking, and it prevents dislodgement when we try to remove the impression from the patient's mouth. Depending on the material of the tray, they can be either plastic trays or metallic trays. So the green one is a plastic tray and the other is a metallic tray. All these are readily available and they come under stock trays too. This is again an impression tray used along with alginate impression material. It's a plastic dentulous perforated tray. These are full arch trays which are used for making impressions of the entire arch, whereas sectional trays we use for making impressions of a particular quadrant. If you need impressions of just one quadrant, maybe to check a bite or check a tooth preparation, you can use quadrant trays. So I hope you'll have seen almost all the impression trays commonly used in clinics and colleges. Shall we do a small brainstorming session? Let me see if you can identify an impression tray. So how about this one? Can you identify this tray? These are usually asked during viva and spotters. Yes, it's a metallic perforated mandibular edentulous stock tray. You can see the perforations here. So the material used along with this tray will be alginate impression material. The material flows through these perforations and it provides for mechanical interlocking. Shall I do one more? How about this one? Yes, it's a plastic perforated dentulous maxillary impression stock tray used along with alginate impression material for making impression of a dentulous mouth. So, my dears, so far you have seen some of the trays commonly used in clinical practice, but before I wind up, let me take you through some special types which are very much a part of prosthodontics. These are water-cooled impression trays which are used along with reversible hydrocolloid material, that is agar-agar. Once the material is placed in the tray and and the impression is being carried out, water can be pumped through the interior lining of the tray in order to cool it, and the impression material sets when the temperature drops. These are bite registration trays used along with bite registration paste. Adjustable trays have flanges that can be molded to adapt better to patient's arch form. These are rim lock trays which enables locking in of the set impression and prevents the material from separating from the tray when it is pulled out from the patient's mouth. We have more durable polycarbonate trays, and these are customizable stock trays. On frame you see Vito tray implant impression trays. They have 9 removable sections in the occlusal part of the tray to facilitate open tray implant impressions. This versatile tray can be used for single or multiple implant impressions. Separable trays usually have 2 separate sections that can be inserted and removed separately in the mouth and can be assembled together using the guiding mechanisms provided there, maybe like screws, guiding slots, etc. They are used for making impressions when patient has highly reduced mouth opening, maybe due to TMJ problems or maybe due to surgery or radiotherapy. Frame cutback tray, previously known as frameless tray, uses a double impression technique where the first layer is injected onto the denture bearing area and the heavier material is loaded onto the tray. This tray has specially shaped flanges, a cutback at the retromolar pad area, and a recess for tongue tip. FCB tray concept vouches that it reduces deformation of tissues and the static closed mouth snap impression taken is the most accurate one. For dental surgeons who would like to go green, we have eco-friendly biodegradable trays. Actually, I have never seen this tray, but there is a tray which can be used for partially edentulous mouth. That is, if anterior teeth are present and posterior teeth are missing, then these are the trays. It's a combo of edentulous and dentulous tray. Let's see the recent innovation in this field of impression making. The most accurate impression is made actually without using any of the trays I've been talking about so far. Yes, it's digital impressions invented and presented by Francois Duret in the latter half of 1980s in Chicago. This is also known as 3D intraoral scanning. A scan of the mouth is made using an intraoral wand. The image can be viewed immediately on a computer screen and can be sent to the lab for fabrication of any dental prosthesis. Still sometimes, in spite of all the sophisticated technology, here we see impression of the maxillary arch of a baby just 4 days old made using a wooden spatula as tray. Journals have reported instances of tongue depressor or even plastic spoon being used as trays in such scenarios which required fabrication of a feeding plate in newborn babies with cleft palate. That was in a nutshell all about impression trays. I'll be back soon with some of the preclinical exercises prescribed in your BDS curriculum. So until we meet again, thank you. Take care.